Welcome back to Healing Gardens. My name is Kim, and I am going to reclaim this space. This grass. Can you believe this grass? Well, we're going to get out as much grass as possible today and the next few days, and we are going to talk about what we're planting right now. I'm in a zone 8A, B, kind of somewhere in there. And we are still planting plenty of things for late summer, early fall, and we'll get a great harvest before the first freeze. So let's get into this, and we'll also do a little harvesting because I have a lot of seed heads in here that I need to harvest while we're pulling grass. And there's even some cucumber vines made their way into the pea patch. So the peas are done, and we are going to do away with those, and we're going to get this area ready to plant. So let's get into this video. I'm glad you're here, and I've brought my snippers, but mostly the grass, and the comes up fairly easy. So I'm just going to make a huge pile right here, and then I'll bring my cart over later and haul this off. It is amazing how quickly this took over. But as we talked about in a previous video, I was down for a few weeks, except for doing what I absolutely had to do for my income. I didn't do anything extra, especially in the garden. And it shows. It really shows in this area because it's just grass and rogue cucumber vines I don't want in this area at all. And they reseed so quickly. And I want to reclaim this space so that I can plant a fall crop of cabbage. I want to put in parsley, dill, and cilantro in here. And what else? Cilantro, cabbage, maybe some broccoli. This isn't the best soil. In fact, I don't really know if you could call it soil because it's just, they had dug down when they were collecting soil for putting in the neighbor's house. And they kind of stripped this down to the, I call it the hard pan. And it's just real hard, sandy soil. So we'll see what we come up with. It grew peas really well, you know, and peas are a nitrogen fixer. So maybe they loosened up that soil just a little bit. And I'm not going to pull the plants. I'm just going to trim them down a little. So and I think some of my pea plants have even reseeded in this area. But we might leave those. Just depends on where they are and when I can see what is going on here, then I'll know whether I want to leave them or just cut them out, because I don't mind having black-eyed peas, just a rogue plant here and there. As you can tell, I am not a row crop gardener. I have had rows in my gardens before, and I don't mind it. It's just this space was more, well, chaos gardening, I guess. We just planted what we could, where we could, and it seems to have worked out. I'm going to go ahead and give this basil a trim back and get that ready to put in the solar dehydrator. I did some in the solar dehydrator the other day, and it turned out beautiful. Nice and dry, but not browned like if I put it in the dehydrator in the house, it gets really brown, and I don't like that. So we got a bunch of marigolds here. I'm just gonna whack those back. Tuh. And I wish I could have gotten this grass out of here before the seed heads made, because that is just going to reseed itself. We certainly don't need that. I do know that after you pull grass for several years, consistently, carefully pulling grass, eventually, if you don't till, it will disappear. I had a gardening kitty quay, and we didn't till it after the first year, and I just would mow every day for an hour, and I'd put those clippings in the pathway, and then when they dried down real good, I'd put them in the around the plants. And just within a couple of years, well, really the first year, it smothered all that grass from growing in the garden. And that was a beautiful, beautiful garden. It was my best garden ever, as far as looks and production. This one produces pretty good for me. And I'm really excited about sweet potatoes. Do you see this bumble right in front of me here? They have loved the zinnias, and the gomphrena behind me is, I think, 2 or 3 plants kind of basically planted in the same, from the same cup or pot. And they love that gomphrena too. So they do a good work. And then I also have a lot of wasps and other things that eat caterpillars. And so that's a big help, because caterpillars can take out a crop really fast. I wish I could just get in here with the weed eater and get this all down and start over, but I have plants here, there, and everywhere. And so we're just gonna pull, and like I said, we'll just reclaim this space and start over with fall crops. So for my late summer and fall plantings, I will also, besides the cabbage and broccoli and herbs, I'm always planting herbs. And I don't recommend this, but whether it's the right time of year or the wrong time of year, I plant herbs and just see what happens. So that's what I do. But check your, you can look online, planting guide and put in your zone, your zip code, something like that, and you can get a list of what is good to plant in your area right now. And I'm in north of Dallas, and I look at Dallas Garden School, and then I have actually about 5 different charts that I look at. And I usually plant earlier and later than what they recommend because I take chances. And a lot of my seed is saved. So like this seed pod, you know, I'll probably replant this later. But they, a lot of people err on the side of caution. I don't with my gardening. I like to buy seeds in bulk, and that way I don't have to be as concerned if I waste 20 seeds. So the grasshoppers have eaten our beans and in some cases left us very few seeds. But I still have probably, so far that I've shelled, I probably have 30 or 40 seeds. Maybe more. Just from black-eyed peas, pink-eye purple whole peas. And then I have a bag that I'm going to cook down and can. Those came from small seed heads, so I don't save those seed pods. I prefer to save the big seed pods that have about 11 seeds. Those I use for replanting, but the other ones we'll eat. Always save your best seed. I mean, there's a lot of grass in here. It is so frustrating when you get behind on garden tending and then you pay for it. And now we're paying for it. That Bumble did not like me pulling on his plant at all. Once I get this down where I can see the soil, I will probably lay cardboard in here, wet it down really good, and then I can just poke holes where I'm going to plant. If I had landscape fabric, I would use that, but I have access to an abundance of cardboard, so we'll probably just use that this year. There's some more peas. grasshoppers really like peas. They just eat them green or dry. And yeah, I don't like it. Eating my food. So the most important thing I think in gardening is kind of knowing when to plant, because I have heard many people talk about planting things, and it's, in my opinion, the totally wrong time of the year. Like one time when I was working in Lubbock, a lady was telling me how she planted some sweet potatoes in November. Well, they're not going to grow in November in Lubbock. They like hot weather, and they don't grow in cold weather and freezing weather. Even if you row cover them, it's not going to be warm enough for them to produce a decent crop. So, doing a little research, finding a garden mentor that knows what to plant when in your area is by far the best thing you can do. I think I need to take my snippers apart and clean them because they keep getting stuck. Let me see. I think I have another pair. Yeah, these will work. My son and daughter-in-law got me these at maybe Harvest Freight. And they are slick. But be careful using them because you can cut the inside of your finger real quick. And I did that the other day and didn't even know it. That is a sharp scissors. Some of these black-eyed peas have runners, which I wasn't expecting this year. And next year I'll know. I think it was the Piggott family seeds. I got those from Sand Hill Preservation Center. I believe they're in Iowa. They do not do online orders. You have to write out your order on a printed order form or piece of paper, and then you mail it in with a check or money order. And they will process your order and get you pretty quickly. You know, you'll get your order pretty quickly. But they are a preservation center first and an order setter second. And I appreciate that they are preserving a lot of our family heirlooms that people had seeds and they passed down from generation to generation. And yeah, so it's a really neat company. But I got these black-eyed pea, I believe they're black-eyed pea, southern peas. They're called Piggott, P-I-G-G-O-T-T. And they produce like crazy. And they produce big peas. And this one is actually a short one. Some of them have 18 seeds in the pod. And I like to shell them. They are easy to shell. And they taste delicious. To me, they're better than a Texas cream pea or a regular black-eyed pea. So I'm not sure. I'll have to do some more research of like what the different peas are. But they're really good. And it is warm out here and I forgot my water. So I need to go back in the house. You can't stay out here very long without water. Keep going. Okay. Well, we've got 2 drinks. Big case of it on sale. No sugar, good amount of potassium. And I've been using that. It's got magnesium, but it's magnesium oxide, which I don't really care for. But it works to help keep me hydrated. So, alrighty, back to grass pulling. All this grass, I do not compost. It goes straight in the trash bin. It is not worth it to me because one piece of a root can take over the world again. So we're just gonna throw away every bit of this into the trash bin. And yeah, I'm surprised some of these black-eyed pea plants are still alive and doing well. Well, they're not producing. That's the thing, is they are not producing for me. So I don't know if it stopped when we lost water, or if it stopped before that. I actually can't remember. But I'm just not willing to give them time to recover from not having water for over a week. So I'm just gonna cut them all down and replant some of them and hope for a better time. Some of this stuff I'm going to come in here and rake because it is too much to pick up. There's a pea. No pea left behind. Anyway, and I don't know, these may revive after I cut them. They are pretty vigorous. We'll see. Gardens always evolve and surprise me. Just when I give up on a plant or seeds, then they grow and come to fruition and produce. So we definitely will see. You know, I harvested all our squash, and I believe, but I kept thinking, wouldn't it be funny we started pulling grass and I found some more. Over here we have our gorgeous Gomphrena, and I have been so impressed with this little seed. I started these from seed, and honestly I don't know how many's in here, but I know this is one that will reseed itself. This is one plant. That's what I was thinking, and I just kept thinking, well, it can't be one plant. This thing is huge. Huge, huge, huge. But it is one plant. And I do believe we'll have Gomphrena in this area forever, because every one of these is turning to seed, and yeah, and they're going to spread everywhere. So in the end, this might just be a Gomphrena bed. Now here, I don't like to see this. This is my noodle beans. Well, they get lost in these weeds, and then they turn to seed. But when they do that, it signals the plant to stop making them. It says, oh, we've made our seed, we're good to go. And then you end up with not as much to harvest. So I like to pull them off the vine as soon as they are ready. And that way, they make more. I've been eating on the noodle beans for over a month, almost every day. And put some up in the freezer. So it's pretty exciting to me to grow and have my own food. I grew without any chemicals, without any powders or potions or liquids. It just absolutely makes me so happy. And it's taken a while to get here, really, because 3 years ago, I had over 200 basil plants I was taking to sale. Might have been 4 years ago. And the grasshoppers moved in and ate everything. Every single thing. Like, I didn't check on them for 1 day. So within the span of 2 days, they were completely gone. And that is very frustrating as a gardener, to have to deal with that. We got vines crawling up the grass. We got vines crawling up the tomato. There's just vines everywhere. And it looks like they are the noodle beans, which are coming from this pot, or yeah, this pot here. And I didn't think this pot was going to do that good because it wasn't getting enough water. Because once this grass grew up, you kind of couldn't see it. But it's doing good. These are going to dry out for seed. Yeah. And these are already dry seeds. A couple nights ago, I sat down and I shelled all my peas, I thought, and beans, my long noodle beans and my black-eyed peas. And guess what? I found a whole nother basket in the house, and then I'll have a whole nother basket from today. So I don't mind shelling, especially dry ones. They're so easy to shell. But Bumbles are getting sad with me because I am in their space. Okay. I don't want to get stung. Got stung a few years ago and it was not a pleasant experience. So we'll move over here. I have this wall is Morning Glory that hitched a ride from somewhere. And my sweet potato vines. And they're easy to tell apart, but they're a pain to separate. Pain to separate. Sorry. Yeah, the Bumbles don't mind me being in here until I start shaking their plants up. Then they get a little upset with me. Bring these over here. And got a lot of beans and peas over here for some reason. I had no clue was here. Our sweet potatoes seem to be doing really good. Hey y'all, so yesterday's video stopped abruptly. I do believe the last thing I said was that our sweet potatoes are doing really well. We are going to do some planting in this area as soon as we get all this grass and dead plants out of here. So our fall garden is going to consist of cauliflower, broccoli, cabbage, all the herbs, parsley, dill, some more basil, whatever we can get in the ground and get it to come up, we are going to continue planting that way. I also want to put some carrots and beets in, but those are going to go in pots. Since this ground is so hard, I don't think it would be a good idea to try to plant root crops in here. So that's our fall plan. And so leave me a comment. What is your fall plan for your garden? And I will see you in the next video. I appreciate y'all coming and spending time with me while I pull grass. Bye-bye.